Well, it's time now for our business update, and we're starting with Huawei. The fallout from the US blacklisting of the Chinese firm continues to rattle the global tech sector. Panasonic is the latest to join a growing list of companies moving away from Huawei. Huawei has the details.
Well, Haxi, the Japanese manufacturer, says it will stop supplying Huawei with certain products that are subject to the US ban. Panasonic has declined to release further details, but on its Chinese website, the company reassured consumers that it will continue doing business with Huawei, and there are reports that the suspension would have a limited impact. Washington's restrictions based on security concerns affect products made in the United States, where Panasonic manufactures some electronic parts. The announcement comes a day after 4 major Japanese and British mobile carriers said they would delay releasing new Huawei handsets. Now, Panasonic's shares dipped following the announcement as broader Asian equities fell amid mounting concerns that the US-China trade tension would morph into a technological Cold War. Chinese shares are leading the decline, as you can see, both Hong Kong and Shanghai down over 1%. Staying in the tech sector, American chipmaker Qualcomm has suffered another judicial setback. A federal judge in California ruled that the company violated US antitrust laws by charging excessive royalties to manufacturers such as Apple and by unfairly squeezing out rival chipmakers. Qualcomm says it will appeal the decision. The ruling comes just weeks after the company settled a multi-billion-dollar dispute with Apple. One analyst welcomes the court ruling as a positive step to open up the market.
Qualcomm sells chips and also licenses, so they had customers locked in. So that was the big problem. If they could, so people could not sell, the manufacturers, the OEMs could not sell their chips unless they had a license with Qualcomm. So that was a big issue. They felt that, they had them cornered or trapped in a way, so it was anti-competitive. So that was the whole thing. So what the judge said was you got to separate those two. You cannot lock people into a long-term contract or exclusive contract.
British Steel has gone into liquidation after last-ditch talks failed to secure a financial rescue. The collapse of the company comes just 1 week after it bought the Ascoval steel mill in northern France. The French government says the plant won't be affected, but not everyone is convinced. Naomi Lloyd reports.
It was supposed to be the saviour of Ascoval. Now British Steel itself has gone into liquidation. Workers at the steel plant near Lille in northern France say they feel betrayed.
I'm disgusted. I've worked here 37 years. I've never seen anything like this.
We go to work with knots in our stomach. We can't be sure what will happen from one day to the next.
So is the French steelworks in danger of closure? No, says the French government, because British Steel is a separate entity from its new French subsidiary, although they have the same private equity firm behind them. But Greybull Capital has a patchy track record. Since it was launched in April 2010 by French brothers Nathaniel and Marc Meoas, 4 of the 10 companies it bought to turn around were later declared insolvent or placed into administration.
Legally speaking, there's no consequence, but I don't want a domino effect. I don't want people to be told in a few months, OK, yes, legally there's no problem, but economically perhaps there are consequences.
So why was a company that was already struggling to turn around British Steel chosen?
To be frank with you, it's not as if there were 15, 20 or 30 buyers rushing into an economic field, the steel industry, which is difficult today.
British Steel pledged to invest €47.5 million and guarantee the jobs of Ascoval's 270 employees. Part of a rescue deal under which the French state and local authorities would match the investment. The French government says it has been given assurances that the deal will still go ahead.
Naomi Lloyd reporting there. Safety officials from more than 30 countries are meeting with US air safety regulators to discuss how to make Boeing's 737 MAX planes safe to fly again. The best-selling jets have been grounded worldwide following 2 fatal crashes since last October, which together killed almost 350 people. Ahead of Thursday's summit, the acting head of the US Federal Aviation Administration said he did not have a specific timetable to approve the 737 MAX for flight, and that the FAA had yet to evaluate Boeing's software update completed last week. which is set to be the focus of the discussions Thursday. The plane maker is also developing new pilot training to improve safety. Former auto tycoon Carlos Ghosn appeared in a Japanese court as pre-trial hearings began. The former chief executive of Nissan and Renault is accused of multiple counts of financial misconduct, including siphoning off Nissan funds for personal use. He is denying all charges. Ghosn's lawyers say it will take at least several months before the actual trial can begin. His arrest has led to increased tension between Nissan and Renault over the future of their alliance. On Wednesday, the French economy minister discussed the issue with his Japanese counterpart, stressing that strengthening the partnership was vital for both car makers.
When you look at the automobile sector worldwide, you see the challenges they face. Electric cars, hybrid cars, autonomous vehicles. You need an industrially solid, consolidated automobile group. This is exactly what we want to do with Renault and Nissan. This is what we agreed upon during my meeting with Mr. Secco.
And that's it for business for now.
Yuka, with business, thank you very much indeed.